Well, today on a very, very cold winter day in February, a very special edition of Exploring Bethlehem, at least special for me personally. Because this once was pretty much the ancestral home, both sides of my family. The Petros lived in the 400 block of Vine Street, and my mom's family, the Castellucci's, lived in the 400 block of Martel. They literally grew up across the central school playground from one another. But the story of my parents' romance, we'll tell that story in some other episode. Right now, we just want to talk about what happened to their neighborhood.
During the 1950s, the neighborhood between Packer Avenue, Martel, Morton and Webster Streets was a bustling community that was home to local families, small businesses, 2 schools, and communities of faith, and it surrounded a growing Lehigh University that was contemplating expansion. In the early 50s, Lehigh began its expansion by purchasing land in the neighborhood using straw buyers. Throughout this time period, the federal government's urban renewal plan encouraged cities to promote development through the acquisition of blighted properties and their subsequent demolition and redevelopment. Urban renewal provided a potential mechanism for university expansion at Lehigh. By the late 50s, Lehigh had acquired a critical mass of local properties, and the city of Bethlehem agreed to request federal urban renewal funds to acquire the other homes in the neighborhood. Vague federal guidelines required cities to identify targeted areas as blighted before they could receive federal money for slum clearance. Taking advantage of this designation, the city condemned entire blocks by identifying just a few properties on each one as evidence of urban blight. Residents recall that many of the rundown properties had been acquired by the university early on in its expansion planning, and had been neglected, with peeling paint, overgrown weeds and bushes, and broken sidewalks. Homeowners, led by businesswoman and Vine Street resident Anna Ponrix, spoke out at city council meetings and accused the university administration and trustees of deliberately seeking the blighted designation for the city blocks needed for campus expansion. As the project unfolded into the early 1960s, some residents fought to save their homes in the neighborhood from acquisition through urban renewal, while other property owners were happy to sell their homes. Once houses were condemned and families had moved, demolition workers tore down both rundown properties and well-maintained homes, gardens, and yards at a rate of 5 houses per day.
Yeah, come to think of it, it was around 1965 that everything started to change. How could my grandparents possibly have known that they had something that Lehigh University wanted? Their house. I guess you could say that it took the better part of 55 years, but the final part of the property being developed is happening right here, because the university now has a new College of Health and Technology, and this is the center.